Welcome to this week's edition of The Passion of the Digital Artist. And here he is, your favorite passionate digital artist and mine, Jeff Mueller.
Way to go, Xavier!
Hey, Jeff.
So, how have you been?
It's been a tumultuous week. We don't have to go into it.
Right. But hang in there.
All right.
Thanks for coming out tonight.
Wouldn't miss it.
So, getting back from last week. This week I want to get a little bit more in depth on how I do the business plans. We kind of covered it as far as that an artist needs one and what they need to do. But this week I want to really cover what I do as far as a business plan. The yearly business plan. Last time I mentioned that I do a 1 year, I do a 5 year, and I do a 10 year. And then at the end of each year, I revise the one year for the next, and then based off the last year, revise the 5 and the 10 year. So some years, if the business plan after the first year and everything I set up, if I didn't accomplish my goals, that might put me back in what I'm trying to do as far as 5 and 10 years. And then if I've accomplished my goals and gone further, that might take me, that's why I adjust the 5 and 10 year. But let's take the 1 year business plan. A business plan for someone opening up their own business and doing a small business that they're selling their wares or they're selling a manufactured product is a little bit different to start out with than what an artist's business plan would be to start off. And the reason why I say that is when you're manufacturing something or you come up with an idea and then you start to manufacture, there's a lot of groundwork laid to what you need to do to obtain the money to do it. First, you have to have the idea, come up with a prototype, raise the money or invest the money, and then start to sell it. Now, there's lots of different avenues and venues you can go down. But as far as an artist goes, it's a little bit different in the fact that when you're dealing with an artist and what they're trying to do, the amount of time and effort, because you're not manufacturing something, you're creating something, especially when you're dealing with fine art, there's a whole different business plan that you would put down if you're dealing with something more commercial art or commercial fine art, like I would like to say, or commercial fine art is more decor art, decor fine art that you're looking to sell and mass produce. Now, based off of all this, there's different rules for whatever direction you want to go. Now, myself, right now, I pretty much have two directions, even maybe even a third direction, where I do strictly commercial art. I've been doing that since 1980, 81 with my father, and gone through that, but right now bringing me to the year 2013, going into 2014, I'm going to be making a business plan, and the business plan pretty much is sectioned off into 3 sections at the moment. One is my main business plan where I'm doing commercial art, where I work with art directors, photographers, and that type of thing. I have a pretty basic business plan set up, and I have the amount of money I would like to bring in as a goal set, that I actually set goals working with different people. And this year I've been pushing it a little bit more than I have in the past, and I intend to raise that number up. Then there's what I'm getting into, the commercial fine art decor, which I want to market to interior designers. Now, that one I don't have a set money strategy for that yet, but I intend to probably this year set that all up. That's part of my business plan for the art decor. And then the fine art, which I've been working on now for 4 years. And that's really the direction I want to take. What I want to take this is the fine art. Now, that particular fine art business plan is where we get into something very unique. That's where I've been setting goals through the business plan, and I've not been dealing with money very much at all. But we're getting close to that in 2014 based off of sales. Last year, my goal was to make a sale, and I had a commission, fairly large commission, and I did what my goal was in that case. Now this year, I finally reached my goal, which was my business plan. I've gotten over 20 paintings that I can start marketing, and I've been getting magazine articles, talking on Facebook and Twitter, and really starting to promote that part of my business. This year, in 2014, I want to sell a completed painting, and that's my main goal for this year, to actually, and not a commission, but to sell a completed painting. That is the initial goal that's set, and what I have to do that is what you do for your business plan around that to make that sale. You start to deal with Facebook and Twitter, where I've been doing a lot of promoting, YouTube, but now I want to promote to sell. So the whole thing is how detailed you get, but you have to set the goals, and as an artist, you want to set them obtainable. That's really the goal. So if you're an artist and a craft artist and you're just starting out, what you want to do is, after you've got a bulk work, you want to maybe set the goal for that year to get in an art fair and sell some of your, but you say you want to get in one art fair. Set that goal. If you obtain that goal and surpass it, all the better. So then you deal with your 5 and 10 year plans of what your long-term goals are. To be, for instance, in fine art, my goal is to be a gallery represented artist with collectors purchasing my fine art. And then eventually my 10-year goal is really, this is it, I want to be in the Guggenheim. That's a 10-year goal from this point. So what I do to get there in the next 10 years is very important, and it's got to have groundwork laid out with goals that you obtain along the way, because if you don't do this, you're never going to get in. So that brings me to the other part of the video blog. I had a couple questions on copyrights, and I did some extensive, I've always, because I worked in commercial art, I understood the rules of copyrights in commercial art. When large companies or small companies are utilizing other people's products to promote theirs, there's a lot of different rules, and I've always understood. But when it came to fine art is a very specific, the rules are specific, and then there's a gray area. Now, there's 2 things that I do. One, I just finished the Big Lebowski painting. The Big Lebowski painting was in a show for pop art that was created, and it has the likes of John Goodman, it has the likes of Steve Buscemi, and then Jeff Bridges. And in that particular painting, the rules come down to that the copyright is definitely held by the the movie company. But the reason why pop art, similar to what I did, where the movie companies think that you're creating artwork, one-of-a-kind piece that you might sell a couple limited edition prints, they don't frown upon it because, one, you're promoting their movie, you're promoting the people in the movie. The actors don't really frown upon it because you're also promoting them in the movie, and it only can help what you're doing because you're not putting them in a bad light. So
what you're saying is you're selling 1 or 2 pieces, maybe an already completed piece or a commission piece of that, as compared to mass producing silkscreen prints.
Now, if I wanted to do a T-shirt and sell coffee mugs,
then you got a problem, I think.
Well, it's not really a problem. They'll tell me to stop it. That's really what they do. Cease and desist, and if you don't, that's when they'll come after you. But really what it comes down to is, if you're doing one-of-a-kind pieces of artwork, that's okay. It's just you can't be marketing directly backed and over marketing what they do for the movie. That's just not what they're going to let you do, and then you'll get a cease and desist. That brings me to the other part, the public domain aspect of what I do in my social situations. Now, those pieces are a different story because you're capturing what's going on in those lives. Once again, you're doing limited edition prints, you're capturing everyday life. The rights, you're not going to get a cease and desist.
There's something that I wanted to ask you here, and I don't mean to spring this on you in the middle of the blog, but you made me think of something. Now, I get when you have a panoramic view of a square or a downtown area and there's people there, you know, that's public art. And you can take a picture.
Domain.
Right, public domain, you know, and then they don't have a right to privacy there because they're out in the public when you did that. But now, what happens in that view? Let's say you have a brand sign like Nike or Coca-Cola or something like that, and you paint that into your painting.
Still, it's considered public domain. They're promoting their stuff in public. So if you capture a photo of it, if you're not using it to sell a product, and you're doing fine art, the exemption. Although now in different states it's different laws, but as for instance, in California, they have a lot more rules on producing artwork of, let's say, Elvis, or producing artwork of some of the movie stars, specifically then selling t-shirts, that type of thing. But once again, there's millions of paintings of Elvis, there's millions of paintings of football players, there's just all that type of work. And when you think about it, if you're not, as long as that you're not doing it's a public domain, and you're creating fine art and you're not using it to promote the people in a bad way, because then you're doing. And then the last thing that it comes down to is editorial, and that's why publications like the National Enquirer exist, because they are going out and taking pictures of the stars in very normal everyday settings, showing them in real life. And real life for a movie star isn't what they're portrayed in the movies. In the movies, they're put on this pedestal, made up to look the best that people can possibly look. So when you capture them at the beach in their bikini in between movies, they look like normal people. But that is still, once again, it's a public domain thing, and that's why they have the right to do it, because they're out in public. So that kind of, I wanted to bring that in to the discussion and understand copyright, that photographs are frowned upon a little bit more. When you're taking photos, you have a little bit more responsibility.
Well, I think because of the ease of mass production of the photo.
And how you use it.
As compared to producing what you produce.
Right, but when you get into fine art, that's pretty much open to what and how you produce it. So then when you deal with movie stars, that's then a little bit more closed. You really have to watch yourself when you're doing something like the Big Lebowski painting to make sure you keep it a one of a kind, maybe a couple prints, that type of thing. That's going to not get your attention. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there but that's promoting them. That's almost like free advertising for that particular movie or that particular person. So that's covers two big topics this week.
Wow, that was a pretty high-powered, info-packed blog there.
Whoa! I think
Why we call it the passion of the digital artist.
Exactly, and I am passionate, and it's just so much fun to share this with everybody out there. Really, it really comes down to, I'm here for anybody who wants me to be for them. If you have questions, get a hold of me on Twitter, talk to me on Facebook. Wide open for that.
Awesome, Jeff. Thanks, folks.